lived in Joliet and worked in North Chicago at a company called Montgomery Ward's.
Like I said, did you hear Chicago? Did you just hear that?
That was fucking legit.
He just dropped that. He's going to say 2 tree in a couple seconds.
You know what? Let's order a pie while we're out here. What do you say?
Hey,
guys.
forget about it. Huh?
It's 42 minutes door to door. Yeah, right? 42 miles, but it took me an hour and 15 to an hour and a half.
Fucking A, yeah, well.
And it was
Fucking, that's if you make good time.
No kidding. That's if you took a Metro.
Are you kidding me? 42 miles an hour and 15 minutes. What are you in a race car? Are you in a hovercraft?
You're from the future. You have a teleporter. You know.
I had a meeting this morning at 10 a.m. in the city. I left. I had a 37-mile drive. I gave myself 3 hours. I used 2 hours and 40 minutes of it.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, when I would take the L, which I saw on Lake Street, I got off on Lake Street. I felt like I was in fucking Blues Brothers. Like, whoa, what the hell? But I would drive up to Montgomery Ward's, or when I would take the L, you get off on the north side of the street. The first thing you do is you walk over to the south side of the street, and then you walk to Montgomery Ward's, and then you cross back over to the north side of the street. Because the north side of the street was Cabrini Green.
Right.
Yeah,
so you've got to walk 3 blocks, and you cross over to the south side to walk 3 blocks, and
That's
then cross
Chicago,
back over
right?
to the north side. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different neighborhood on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
It's six lanes away. You're scared of being shot. On the other side, you're like, yeah, it's River North. I'm paying $8 a meal for a restaurant.
Right.
It's just amazing. The other thing is, I listened to your last show on the drive up here, and I have never so desperately wanted a hot, wet, spicy, salty Italian beef sandwich.
We'd have had one waiting for you. We'd have had one waiting for you. Next time, send us a message.
And I had to have one with, au jus on the side, so I could dip it and pour it on it, make it all sloppy.
Like, that would have been worth videotaping.
A little giardiniera on there. So
just really bury your face in that thing. And
that's the good stuff.
The funny thing is that it was the very first time in my life I ever thought of Michelle Bachmann that way. It was,
no, it is not. You lying
No, it is. I had that
It's
thought.
the only time her husband's ever thought of her that way.
So that was scary, creepy, and I started to get really hungry. So, I got a salt deficiency.
Oh, yeah.
Need something.
You need to drink a lot of water after
It's all
that.
anchovies downhill.
Oh,
man.
You really ran that one around there.
So I understand also listening from the last show, and I've listened to a few before. You guys are really big into the sports ball stuff.
Tom is.
Tom's a huge sports balls.
Ball
I don't.
fan.
Yeah.
I'm giving it hell in that I'm not really giving that hell. No.
Yeah. Only a couple days ago, I found out there was the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That happened.
And I think the best part of the Super Bowl was Beyonce.
I heard there was controversy surrounding Beyonce's performance.
Yeah, only if you're a fundamentalist nut job with your ass up your head up your ass. I guess.
Well,
it doesn't really matter.
Wasn't there like a Black Panthers reference, and people were all fucking pissed off
was
about
there?
it? Well,
No,
I don't know. I read about it online, and I think they said that.
Well, it must be true.
Well,
Yeah,
if it was on the internet, guys.
Yeah, it's on the internet.
True, right.
No, it was. I love Coldplay, but Coldplay was, for the Super Bowl, they just don't have that kind of energy. They don't have that drive. And they did a couple songs, and then Marco Polo comes out, and Beyonce. What the hell's his name?
Oh God, what is his name?
Mark
he sings that song.
Marco. What?
He sings that one song.
The little short guy.
Yeah, I just had it on my ticket.
Yeah, he's like a shorter, lighter version of Michael Jackson. Well, maybe he's not lighter, but he's got the moves of Michael Jackson. And Beyonce comes out, and they do a dance off, and he's got his boys, and she's got her girls, and wow, just talk about skill, synchronization, just the dancing, the beat, just fantastic show. And then of course the fundies go nutty later that she was talking about. The blacks rising up and taking power and fighting back, and it's scary.
Yeah. There was all kinds of controversy. People are like protesting, and it's like a whole
stupid.
It's like a whole fucking thing. But I had to look it up because I had actually watched the halftime show. Believe that shit or not, I had actually watched the halftime show, and then when I heard that there was a controversy surrounding it, I know I'm as surprised as you are.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the football game?
I watched the entire football.
Shut
game.
the fuck up! There's no way you watched the whole football game. Who won?
The Broncos.
Oh, he even knows the name of the team.
I didn't know.
I actually, before, now I'll go one better. Before I watched the game, I did a little reading.
You can read?
I did the reading.
I did
read.
pop-up books.
He
Pop-up
did the
books.
reading,
so
guys.
so that I would be able to watch the game reasonably knowledgeably.
That's amazing.
Because
And
I had not
when
watched
the guys
any
put
other
their
games
arms
prior.
up, it's a touchdown. See, now you know that.
That's what they told
Yeah.
me. They said this is the good sign, and
That's-
and those little yellow flags are bad. I picked up the whole game. I was pretty much an expert.
And in football, when they pull out a red card, No,
Red card.
it's really bad. It's really bad.
That's no good. Yeah, but I saw the halftime show, and then when I heard on there's controversy. Like, I fucking watched that show. What there could be controversy about? Nothing happened. Like, she fucking danced around with the enormous zipper on her pants. Like, that's the only thing that happened.
Kind of look like mom jeans, sort of.
She looked weird, dude.
Yeah.
It was fucking weird. That zipper was large and in charge. That zipper stole the show.
You don't want to get caught in that.
Only if there's an Italian beef under it.
It probably is.
They call that the Mangler.
Black Mamba.
You only get bit once.
So yeah, that was a good show. What else is going on in the news? You guys want to talk about? You got some prep for your show. Oh, by the way, in case we didn't cover this clearly for the listeners, I'm in Chicago. I'm in your, what should we call this? Glory Hole?
Glory Hole Studios.
Glory Hole Studios, my
Glory Hole
friend.
Studios.
The
And I
one,
tell you
the
what,
only.
It's on the 5th floor. Secrets. I won't tell the room number, but I'm on the elevator, and about fourth floor on the elevator, I could smell the pot.
Oh, this place smells like a goddamn dispensary.
It does. It does. It's like they hotbox the elevator every time. Every single time.
And I thought you guys were talking about because you're smoking that much pot.
no.
Oh,
No, it's the whole building.
The whole building. It's like you ever like see a house and you can tell they're doing laundry because there's just smoke coming out, like where the dryer is
called
venting into
steam.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm
Unless they elect
drawing
the
an
new
analogy here. Follow me.
Unless they like the new pope.
Right? They're lighting shit on fire and throwing it in the fucking dryer.
His
I'm gonna
smoke
go
coming
fuck
out is
you both.
white. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this whole building is like you open the door and it's like whoop.
Yeah.
It's like Cheech and
Yeah, it's
Chong
like
are,
Cheech and Chong's
hotboxing the whole
van.
building.
Yeah, it's fucking
I'm
ridiculous.
getting a free contact high out of
I'll
this.
tell
bad
you
boy.
what, yeah. Well, it ain't free. There's a tip jar by the door. You got to throw a little money in.
I think I can manage that. There's some good stuff.
Yeah, it's a great building. It's just really loud all the time because it's a band rehearsal place, so
Right.
it's always loud and it smells like pot. But if you can get over those two things,
Oh, and the internet blows.
and the internet sucks. Other than that, it's good.
It's a good
Well, it's a good thing you don't need internet.
Right.
constantly for everything we're doing. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be really inconvenient.
We didn't do a lot of planning ahead of time, so
So that's how you ended up at this place.
exactly. That is how
Right.
we ended up here.
Well, it was like I was at my mom's and she's paying $60 a month for real high-speed internet, and she was complaining. So I went down to 3 megabytes per second.
Yeah,
Is that the
3
right?
megabits. Yeah.
And then I realized I had to update the Nortons, which should take about 5 minutes to download all
Sure.
the new definitions.
Sure,
and
yeah.
it took 45 minutes.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I think next time I'm going out to my mom's, I'm just going to tell her, Mom, I'm going to give you $20 every month.
Yeah.
Because for her, she's like, hey, how much bandwidth does she need to play solitaire?
Sure.
Right. Yeah, my dad would be fine with dial-up.
Yeah.
Like, if you gave my dad dial-up, he'd be thrilled. He'd be like, oh, I can check my
Well,
emails
she
once in a
had
week.
dial-up, and it took us 5 years to talk her up to
Wow.
the higher speed, and now we went back down to 3 megabytes, and I'm regretting it first thing.
I know, because you can't use your fucking Wi-Fi when you go over there. It's just
It's brutal.
oh,
It's brutal.
God, it's like being in a hotel and trying to use the hotel Wi-Fi. I don't know why. Every time I go to a hotel to try to use, a lot of times I'm traveling and I'm actually recording for the show, or I'm trying to mix the show.
Right.
And so I'm looking for stuff, or I'm trying to upload something. Hotel Wi-Fi, for the most
Garbage.
part, unless you pay for it, is garbage. It's absolutely the
You're
worst.
probably staying at too nice a hotel.
That's your problem.
Yeah, the cheaper the hotels, the better the Wi-Fi.
Because there's nobody else using it,
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah, they
'Cause
don't have
it's,
Wi-Fi.
it's fucking Hannibal Lecter in room 1A and you. That's it. Like, that's...
Nobody else has Wi-Fi.
Nobody else is
devices.
using it.
You go to Nights Inn, you're set. man.
You are from Southern Illinois. What's
no
going on?
one's looking at the porn because they're creating it there.
Yeah, I'm streaming from room 104.
Right, this is-
That's interesting.
Like, it's when you go to the Hyatt downtown Chicago and you pay $37 to park your car and
$37.
$42 to
What do you park in a fucking bicycle? $37. I stayed downtown the other day. It was $100 to park my car with a tip.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For one night?
For one night.
That's more
no,
than the
for
room.
like 3 hours. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
They rent the rooms
Yeah,
by
it
the
was
hour.
like $85 for the valet because it's valet is mandatory. It's $85 for the valet, and then you got to tip the fucking guy. You just charge you $85. You charge him, you give him a $5 or $10 tip. You're kissing $100
Man.
goodbye just to stop driving your car.
You guys must be making a killing on the show.
No, that was through my actual job.
Yeah.
Boy, that Patreon is bitching.
Oh, God.
Oh, by the way, these guys have a Patreon. Where do we find it? So in case one of my listeners actually
Nobody
wants to
would
give
want
you...
to do that. None of your listeners care. But
Ah.
if they did, they could find
they did.
anything about us from dissonancepod.com. And basically all the links go out to anywhere. But
Well, cool. Well, this seems like a perfect moment to pause, and we'll do the commercial thing. I don't know. I'm kind of lost in the time here. So let's take a pause. We'll do the commercial, and we'll be right back.
Only on Secular Media Network.
This is Phil Ferguson with Polaris Financial Planning, the home of science-based investing. I see people owning really bad investments all of the time. Many advisors are paid a commission by a big company to sell you something you may not need. It's kind of like church. They create fear, then they tell you what you want to hear, and then they take your money. What you want is an advisor that is paid only by you. That is a fee-only fiduciary advisor. Remember, people work for who they are paid by. You can contact me, Phil, at PolarisFinancialPlanning.com, or listen to the cleverly titled The Phil Ferguson Show. Each show, we have an interesting investing skeptically topic and an interview with someone fighting to end religion. Polaris also gives 10% of gross revenue to support the growing secular movement. You're not just getting better investments, you're helping to change the world.
You're listening to The Phil Ferguson Show on Secular Media Network.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Phil Ferguson, and you are still listening to The Phil Ferguson Show. And with me, I have Cognitive Dissonance, and you can find their show at Dissonance Pod. Is that what we just said?
Yeah. That's literally what we just said. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Well, the commercial break threw him off.
I'm
you know?
I know. We had to sit through that
It was
commercial
like
break.
5 minutes ago.
Jeez. I'm totally going to buy that audiobook, though.
I'm
I'm going to
almost
buy it.
50. Yeah.
I'm going to buy it.
You should.
Yeah,
although
I can't get enough of David Smalley's voice.
know,
I really can't.
I'm not making any more money off of that because it sold.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Atheist Audiobooks sold to somebody else. Ah, damn it.
Pat Robertson.
Yeah, Pat
Did he pick
Robertson.
that up? Yeah.
No, it's a company that already has about 25 atheist audiobooks, and now they have 50.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it's an organization, and Smalley can focus on his podcast and not spend time on audiobooks. So
there
I
you
think
go.
it's a win-win for everybody. Cool.
Yeah, right on.
And I got 10% of the proceeds,
Whoa.
being the investor.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic to me to think that some of these podcasts, I know you guys make some money on the Patreon, enough to get this glorious glory hole studio in the pot-filled building.
It is pretty posh, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
are you impressed?
I like the sound foam rolled up in the corner.
Right?
You got to put
Yeah.
that up at some point.
That's betting for the bitches. That's really what that is. That's bitches betting.
That's the rollaway bed.
Yeah, that's a rollaway.
So we used to have a full studio, but when we moved, we came here, and this place supposedly had sound dampening stuff on the walls, but it totally had a ton of reflection. It just wasn't working. So we're waiting for their permission to sort of sound deaden the room on our own.
Yeah.
So it's sort of just.
What actually doesn't sound that
It's
awful
not
bad in
terrible.
here.
It's not
Yeah.
terrible. It really was pretty bad though, because both of those mics are pretty. They catch any reflection off the wall. That's why this shit's against this wall, because
Yeah,
this wall
right.
was bouncing it really bad. So
And it's funny. I don't know if the listeners can pick it up. I can hear the bands.
yeah, it'd be hard. It's hard to get. It's hard to catch.
It's real
most
subtle.
of the time. Most of the time, the mics won't pick up most of the stuff. You might hear one or two, or if the guy next door hits his bass real hard, that grate up there will shake,
rattle.
and so you'll hear that occasionally. But
So I know you guys follow politics a little bit. What do you think of the Trump?
Oh my God, what is there to think? I think he's playing us, is what I think.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it's a
hoping.
farce.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
That's the optimal situation.
Part of me thinks that this is for Trump, that this is just a game. You know, like I want to win. I like winning. Winning is a fun thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to win this election because winning for him is clearly what it's about, right? It's not about the money, because there comes a point where money becomes meaningless. Once you have a certain amount of money, money is good for buying goods and services, right? Once you reach a certain point, there's no more goods or services you can't buy with a lesser value of money,
How many
right?
more jeans can you own?
Right. I mean, what's the difference between $15 million and $100 million from a practical perspective?
85
you can,
million.
Well, yeah, but you can go anywhere. You can buy anything, right? Thanks. Nailed it.
this guy's an investor.
He didn't even need a calculator
He's
for
an
that shit.
Investor.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, money is wonderful up until a point, but then it does begin to lose its productive value after a certain point in terms of what it's going to do for your life. So I think Trump is at a point where what's another $100 million to him? He's already at a point where he can buy anything, go anywhere. So I think it's about winning at this point. It's about keeping score. This is another triumph or another trophy he can put on a mantle. I don't think he believes anything he says. I think he's just saying what he needs to say in order to get the next victory.
There have been quotes where he said that he could